Hey guys, welcome back to another meal prep video. So I'm going to show you what I plan on prepping for today. Also wanted to remind you to check out the description box for recipes, also for links to meal prep containers and other information that I get asked about quite often. So let's get into what I'll be prepping today. So for dinner prep, I'm going to be prepping some soup vegetables. I already soaked the beans. I'm going to be chopping up some onion for another dinner recipe and then cutting some chicken into chunks for another dinner recipe. Lunch prep, I'm making a black pepper chicken, and then any leftover chicken I'll just put in the air fryer. And then my usual snack and basic prep, so I have some green leaf lettuce I want to get washed up. I want to dice up some red onions and green onions and then make some hard-boiled eggs. So that is the plan for today, so let's get right into the prep. So today's prep, I'm going to start with the lunch prep. I have a 1-pot black pepper chicken that I am making. So I am going to take these thin sliced chicken breasts and cut them up into strips. Put them into a bowl, and to that bowl I'm going to add in the marinade. So I need to add in 1 tablespoon of honey, 1.5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, but I didn't have any, so I'm using tamari. I'm going to stir that around and let that marinate in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. So while that is marinating, I'm going to go ahead and cut up my vegetables. So I have a red bell pepper and a green bell pepper. I'm just going to cut those up into strips. And then I'm going to take a half of a yellow onion and cut it into thin strips as well. So I'm just going to put those into a bowl and set those aside. And once the chicken is done marinating, I'm going to go ahead and add some garlic and ginger to a hot pan. And I'm going to cook that around for about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to add in the chicken and just get it browned on all sides. And then to the chicken, I'm going to go ahead and add in the bell pepper strips, the onions, 1.5 tablespoons of the tamari, and another 1.5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to stir that around, let it cook for just a little bit, and then I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper. And then once again, I'm going to stir that around, put the lid on there, and just let everything cook and the flavors all meld together. So once the chicken's all cooked through, I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and into that same pan, I'm going to add in some cabbage and just give it a quick kind of stir fry so it's just a little bit wilted. And then I'm going to take the cabbage and put it in the bottom of each of my meal prep containers. I should have did a little bit more cabbage, but it was too late by the time I was putting everything in there. And to that, I'm just going to split up the chicken into 4 different containers, and this will be my lunch. And this comes to 1 Smart Point per serving. So now let's move on to the dinner prep. I have a soup again that I'm making this week, and so I need to prep some vegetables for that. So I need to prep some yellow onion, some carrots, and some celery once again. So I'm just using my little vegetable chopper here. I'm going to chop up a whole entire yellow onion, and then I'm going to also use part of that yellow onion for another recipe I will be making later in the week as well. So I'm just going to split that onion into 2 different containers. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some celery and slice it up, and then the leftovers I'm just going to put into a Ziploc bag to have with my hummus for snacks this week. And then finally I'm going to go ahead and peel and then cut the carrots into little rounds. And there you go, there are my vegetables all prepped for my soup this week. So now I'm going to move on to some vegetables I need to prep for another recipe that I'll be making today for a separate video for you guys. I need to shred up some carrots and also shred up some zucchini. One thing about this vegetable chopper, it shreds the things okay, but it's not the best. I also need to shred up some apple, but I'm going to do that right before I make the recipe. So I have these all ready to go. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and work on my basic prep. So per usual, every week I do dice up some red onions that I use for salads, and also just chop up some green onions that I also use for salads. And then I'm going to make some hard-boiled eggs. My eggs lately have been getting a little bit too done, so I decided to do the 5-5-5 method this week, and I am cooking them for 5 minutes in my pressure cooker. Then I will let them natural release for 5 minutes and then put them in finally into the ice bath for 5 minutes. And then the last thing I worked on was just making sure all my snack containers that go into my refrigerator were all nice and organized for the family. And so I just brought out some guacamole that I had in the freezer and just arranged that. Also opened up another package of string cheese and put those in there. And then I'm going to put my hard-boiled eggs in there as well. And then I have some yogurt, so we are ready to go for healthy snacks. I do have an entire video on my fridge station. And there you go. There is everything that I prepped for this week. I know another simple prep, but I am going to be doing some recipe testing this weekend, so I'm going to have plenty of snacks throughout the week. So I only need to prep for 4 lunches, so this will get me through this week. Next week, I do have a couple new things that I plan on trying for meal prepping, so stay tuned for that. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys!